Hi, my name is Corme, and today I'm talking to you guys about Phase 3 for Mythic Raszageth. So for Phase 3, the only real difference between Heroic and Mythic, I shouldn't say the only difference, the largest difference are the motes that spawn. So these motes spawn out in the storm, and they're moving towards the boss the entire time. If they hit the boss, then the boss heals. Basically think of it like Halandra's orbs. They're a lot slower moving, and same as Halandra's orbs, you do take damage. However, in this case, you get a stack of a dot. This dot does stack, and the dot stacks the same way that it does like if you go out and you touch the encroaching storm that's encroaching the entire time you're fighting the boss in Phase 3. So it's easy, especially if you are bad at getting through the waves and you're getting stacked from being out there and you're getting hit by you're having to soak too much to have a problem. It's usually the tanks that are going to get really high stacks in this fight and be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Then hopefully sometimes like your tankier DPS like Unholy DKs and stuff like that if they can. Warlocks maybe, and then of course healers. As an evoker, you do want to be helping, but you also do want to be keeping in mind your mastery. If your health is getting too low, you're losing out on all of your mastery healing is the way our mastery healing works. So definitely don't let the boss heal, but also if it's possible for you to soak less than other healers that are able to heal more without losing out on healing, it's a balancing act. Either way, don't let them get to the boss. Okay, now onto the important part, how to heal this phase or this fight. These are basically all of the mechanics that you have to worry about in Phase 3. It's, like I said, it's really similar to Heroic. You have a pull charge, then you have a fast pull charge into a wave. This is a scary spot. Then another pull charge, then a pull charge close to another wave again, and then a third wave. So these waves get harder to get through each time because of the encroaching storm. You don't want people getting hit by them, and people are like, since they're closer, and it works similar to Phase 2, where if you are close to someone else when you're getting to the wave, it basically does splash damage. So since there's less room to spread each of these waves, while the wave itself isn't doing more damage, people are taking more damage because they're not able to spread out as much, and they're also getting pushed back into the storm and taking more dot ticking damage, and that's going to be ramping the entire fight in Phase 3. So it's really like this whole fight is like a DPS race to beat the encroaching storm, but also just like the stacking dot damage from having to soak the motes and people like inevitably getting like pushed back into the storm is going to be a problem. The other thing I don't have listed here are the charges that you have to soak, and I'll get into those, which are also inevitably going to be losing some people to that. So for the most part, the first time we killed this boss, we killed it like at the 14-minute mark, like right here. As you can see in this example, I have a poll that goes till 14:30, so I chose our rekill poll because it lasted much longer. It was a lot less clean. It was really hectic. We barely killed it, so I think it's a bit more exciting and fun to look at because like our actual kill poll, we went into it with like a bunch of battle reses, and you know, it was pretty fine, pretty clean. However, this poll was really hectic, and I think kind of mirrors what like a first kill would look like a little bit better than what our first kill was, where it was just pretty clean. So I want to look at that one instead. Okay, so here we are landing into Phase 3. So when you first land, there's not going to be a lot going on. Remember that the chart we just looked at, there's only be like a pull charge in like the first minute, so you're gonna spend a lot of time here DPSing. So you see I do have that note popping up again telling me that I need to be prepping a stasis with 3 TA, so you see me pressing stasis. I press 1 TA, then I disintegrated. I'm gonna press another TA, and then I'm going to use my staff. And if the fight goes long enough, you get another staff as well. And then I press my 3rd TA, and then I'm just pressing disintegrate and DPSing here. So right now we have the pull charge going out, so that pull charge is going to go a little bit past purple in case they get hit by the breath. Or sorry, not hit by, targeted by the breath. But most likely, since everybody else is over here, one of us is going to get targeted by the breath. We get targeted by the breath, we all move over. Normally we wait to drop the AMZ until after the breath is started so that we actually get the AMZ DR, but someone dropped a little early. Honestly, this one is so safe, it just doesn't matter, and you're gonna get another one in the fight. That's why we put that. That's why we put one there. So we dodge the breath, we get pulled. Since I had those TAs out, since I was putting out my stasis, I immediately reversioned as soon as we landed. That's going to just get some good golden hour value, gonna tick us back up. And also it's going to give me healing bonus for if those last into the next overlap. So as we saw on that chart, I'll go back to it. And then right here, this overlap is what I'm basically like prepping my stasis for, is to have healing going into this, because this is going to be a fast overlap. So this overlap and this overlap are like ones that I'm kind of like, you're worried about for the most part. Into the pull charge, I press reversion. I have my stasis already. Right now we are on top of the gate, so the important part is that you are always going to the same marker if you get the pull charge, because that's where the gate is going to be. 3 people get picked with these charges. One of them gets a Tiger's Lust, one of them gets a freedom. They have to spread out. Everybody else who doesn't get it takes the gate. We're gonna get over here. I'm gonna be DPSing a bit more. And then I'm going to be releasing my stasis after this disintegrate. So as you saw, when I released that stasis, I like turned to the left and then I turned to the right a little bit, so at least one ball went in each direction. However, when you do that, I also had one go to the middle, so I kind of lost one. But you know, it's just kind of what you got to do sometimes when people are that spread out. But you can see there's at least one going on each direction, so I got at least a few different people instead of it just overlapping on the same people over and over again. So the person who gets the pull charge on this one is going to go into the middle, and then after that we are going to spread out for the wave. This is also where I'm going to use my tip the scales. So I have a bunch of echoes out. Some of them are expiring though. I've written Embrace, and then I'm going to use tip the scales on Spirit Bloom and then Dream Breath. Again, my ramp isn't that big here because everyone is so spread out. Kind of sucks, and I can't press my stasis earlier because otherwise all the echoes that you saw, they were already like dropping off there towards the end. So we're spreading out, the Tempest Wing is coming out, and I need to rescue our Disc Priest. You can see our Disc Priest right there. For the most part, we like assign a spot. For us it's blue. I learned to stop going to blue because like once you get pulled in, it's really disorienting to get back down to your marker. So I was mostly just trying to find him and stay near him so that I could immediately rescue him because he gets pushed back and he's casting a penance. So he's got to rely on me to rescue him in. Really important that you try and get your Disc Priest as much as possible and follow them because they have a hard job, because you can see he's doing a ramp right now. He's pressing mind games. After this, there's not that much healing going on right here, so I'm mostly just going to be DPSing, putting out some temporal anomalies, and getting ready for the next like pull charge just to do another reversion basically. So this next pull charge that's coming up is the Rogue Soak. So the idea here is that we don't have a gate. However, the 3 people just spread out like really loosely, and then the rogues, like there's like 1, 2, 3 people with the pull charges. The rogues stand in between those 2 people, and then they cloak. And then they take those like charges so that the people have to spread out fully, because the charge only goes to the closest person. It doesn't go to everyone that's in the circle, it just goes to the person who's closest to it. That's who it spreads to. However, it's about to go horribly wrong, and you're gonna find out why this pull was such a disaster. So as you can see, we also have 0 battle reses. We went into this pull with 0 battle reses. Going into phase 3 with no battle reses is always bad because you're always going to lose someone to those marks. Like it's, I don't want to say like a hard always, but it's, you're pretty much always going to lose someone. Like those things hit really hard, as you're about to see. Okay, so you can see I'm temporal anomaling. I have some people covered in some echoes. This like isn't like a scary part of the fight normally, so I don't really need a lot of healing. We get pulled into the pull charge, and I get targeted with the charge. So it's telling me to run out. So all I need to do here is I'm just going to run to the left a little bit after I get like a freedom or a tiger's lust, and then I'm just going to stand still so that the rogues can soak. So I finally get the tiger's lust. I stop. I stop running. You can see the rogue right here. He's about to soak. However, what goes wrong here is the person who has freedom right here stepped forward. He was supposed to step to the right or just like spread out a little bit more so that the other rogue has an easier time getting between the 3 because it's the closest target. This one is, we wiped this charge so many times on prog. So if I have one tip to you about phase 3, this is like when we talked about it like post here. This was the part where we felt like people just didn't understand what was going on and we had like so many unnecessary wipes, and this is the re-kill and it was still a problem. So I stand, I wait. What happens is, since they didn't spread out, they just gave it to each other. Like these are the 2 people that originally had it, and this is the rogue. So I was supposed to just spread out. I was supposed to go on the rogues like on that, and then I was supposed to just be able to run away. So I have a 1 debuff. I pre-walled it, but just getting 1 debuff even with wall, which is 30%, you can see I already dipped below. If you don't have a defensive here, you're absolutely just getting 1 shot. Like these things truck. So I get out. The guy that has freedom is now running and he's chasing me. So I'm going to get another application. So I can see I'm about to get another application. I have Health Pot and Healthstone available right here. That's what's glowing. I know the quality is really bad. So I'm going to Health Pot, Healthstone, and I get the second application, and I TD myself. So surely Health Pot, Healthstone, and Time Dilation is enough to heal myself. I have a 4-piece proc, so I use that on myself. But I'm still taking a ton of damage. So I just decide to Emerald Communion. Okay, so this is really bad for later in the fight. So I had to health pot, health stone, use temporal dilation. I have my defensive up, and I got like, I was just like yo-yoing my health, so I had to Emerald Communion here, but we don't have any battle resist left, so it's better that I use absolutely everything on myself, even if it means I have less later, than just die. So you have to be able like maybe if we had like 3 battle resists here, I probably would have just let myself die, save the TD, save the Emerald Communion for the healing CD when I need it later. But like knowing that you don't have battle resist left and stuff like that is important to know, so you know that you just need to absolutely throw the kitchen sink to keep yourself alive here. As you can see, when we mess with the soaks, the hunter is dead. I think our demon hunter dies here. Oh, he lives. Demon hunters, by the way. So I finished my Emerald Communion. As you can see, I'm taking so much damage just from the temporal dilation. That's how much damage I was taking that I have to use my second wall charge. And we have another like scary type of thing coming up here, and I had to double golden hour myself just it's so spooky if that happens. Like, it's really hard to keep people alive, so it's really important you do those soaks correctly. But that is basically what cascades this pull down into a disaster, is that happening and not having any battle resist. So we get this next pull charge. So after this pull charge is going to be another storm wave. It's not as fast as the last overlap, but it is still pretty fast. And what I need to do is I need to, after this, time spiral, stasis, set up my first temporal anomaly, and then do a dream breath to get through this. See, I'm trying to keep myself healthy, get ready. Get into that, I press time spiral, then I'm going to press dream breath to give us a little bit of healing. I'm going to press stasis, a temporal anomaly, and then I'm going to dream flight through this. I also normally pop before this, however, I was really scared about my health, and since Innervate Pot does do damage to you, I didn't press it, and that'll bite me in the back later. So I get through. We're stacking up right now again because we are going to get another set of charges soon. Actually, no, we're getting ready for the storm wave. Sorry. This is where the storm, another type of swing is. So this one, I need to rescue our Disc Priest again, and then I'm going to rewind. I press Zephyr, rescue him, rewind, and then now we're stacking up. Sorry, I forgot that we have the storm wave before we do the stack up. So on this one, you're basically guaranteeing that whoever gets targeted with these is just going to sacrifice himself. And normally when this happens, the boss dies like 20-30 seconds later, but since we have somebody dead, it's going to drag on even longer than that. So like right now, we're 13:31 in the fight. I have my stasis ready. Normally we get these charges, we go the other side. I would Emerald Communion. Let me go back to the thing again. So we're here at 13:30, so I just did the rewind. We're stacking it for the charge. We take the gate again, and then I release my stasis and I'd Emerald Communion. And if we went this far and my tip the scales came back up with the Spirit Bloom, I do that here, and then normally this is where most guilds kill the bosses right here at 14 minutes, just to give you an idea of how this is supposed to look before I go over it. Okay, so these charges go out. These people are almost guaranteed to be dead. They just have to run out into the storm because there's just not enough room for us not to get hit if they don't. They go out into the storm. Some people do inevitably get hit. We have like almost no one alive. I release my stasis. You can see like everyone here is covered in echoes. This would be the perfect moment, and this is like with the link, the perfect time for us to Emerald Communion. However, we don't have it, so I'm going to Verdant Embrace, Dream Breath, and then again I don't have mana right here, and then I start the Spirit Bloom. That's what I meant when it's gonna bite me in the butt later, because now I have to mana pot here when it's really spooky, scary, and we're basically just going to limp to the end here. So we don't have any healing here because like after my Emerald Communion, that is like the last little bit of healing, and we don't have anything else here because we're not supposed to. Like, this boss is just supposed to die before the next we get a pull charge, and then charges go out happen. So right here we have another pull charge that's coming out. So I do have Tip to Scales, and I just cast my staff. So as soon as I saw the pull charges coming out, I pretty much knew we're dead. So I stopped healing and I pressed my staff because it's a lot of damage, and we just need the boss to die before it kills us. So sometimes you just have to stop healing and do that kind of thing. So I took the skills, did a Spirit Bloom, and we're all basically dead here. Like, there's like nobody's gonna spread out in time for this. And I really should have just like ran into that and soaked that before I died. Like, watching this back, we almost wiped because I didn't just like step backwards and see that. It's so hard to see in this room though when you're playing, and then we barely kill it. Like that boss is like 0.1 second away from healing. But yeah, that's why I chose this poll instead of the original poll, because it's a bit more fun to watch. But yeah, we barely kill it. Limp over the finish line. Hopefully your first poll is going to be cleaner than that. I hope you found this helpful. Please let me know down in the comment section, or if you want to stop by my stream and ask any questions about this fight, or Evoker, I'd be happy to answer them, and I hope you learned something. Thank you. Good luck.